Well, topping news tonight at 5, graffiti is an issue across the country and right in our own backyard. Both artistic and gang-related graffiti has found its way to downtown Sioux City on buildings, bridges, and even sidewalks. KTIV's Kaylee Doms joins us in the studio tonight to take a closer look at the problem. So what are we seeing, Kaylee?
Yeah, Jessica, the number of graffiti-related crimes are actually down from last year at this time, but not by much. Through September 30th of last year, Sioux City police had 127 reports of graffiti. Through September 30th of this year, police have 125 reports of graffiti. But that doesn't necessarily mean there's fewer acts of graffiti. It simply means that fewer incidences have been reported. Each time a building or structure is vandalized, it means a business owner, homeowner, or the city has to clean it up. That means those business owners, homeowners, or your tax dollars are being spent to fix the problem. Sergeant Tom Gill with the Sioux City Police Department says the only time the vandal pays is if they're charged.
Now, if we can get somebody charged and arrested for that graffiti, for the vandalism done to that property, then they will have to pay restitution to that business owner or to that homeowner.
Now, there are a few things to keep in mind if you see any graffiti or become a victim of the vandalism. The first thing the city of Sioux City recommends is to report it by contacting the Sioux City Police Department's non-emergency phone number, 712-279-6960. Graffiti is generally removed within 3 days of notification. However, graffiti of graphic or obscene nature is removed immediately. Graffiti found on public property is removed at no charge, but if on private property, the responsibility falls on the victim. Sergeant Gill says it's rare to catch vandals in the act, but if you're caught creating a graffiti tag, the charge is criminal mischief. However, if you do what most vandals do, it becomes a different situation.
Most times, if we do catch them in the act, they do maybe try to run, so that's usually an arrestable offense that we're going to take them to jail for.
If vandals are caught and identified on video after the fact, which Sergeant Gill says is common, there will be a warrant issued for their arrest. The city says the best way to put a stop to the graffiti is to say something if you see something. In studio, Kaylee Doms, KTIV News 4.